dearies. It's Grandma Betty again with another episode of Granny OT with my cat Castiel here. Say hello. Alright, so today we're going to be calling up my local OT and we're going to be asking her a few questions about an assessment. So let's give her a call. Alright. How do you work this thing? Alright, here we go. Hey Betty, how are you doing? Oh, just fine, dear. I'm doing another episode on my YouTube channel. Well, that's great. What can I help you with today? Well, I was hoping you could tell me about an assessment that measures my ability to get around, maybe my balance or fall risk. Oh, lucky for you. I have one that measures all three. It's called the Timed Up and Go test, or TUG. That sounds lovely, dear. Would you mind telling me more about this TUG test? I sure can. Okie dokie. Well, how about we get started with the purpose of the assessment, maybe what populations it assesses? Alright, sounds good, Betty. So the TUG test is a very simple and efficient test that specifically assesses mobility, balance, and fall risk of community-dwelling elderly adults that are 65 and up, but it can also be used on older adults with conditions such as arthritis, CVA, Parkinson's, hip fractures, and many more. Perfect! So you can assess me! How about you tell me what kind of assessment this is? Well, this assessment is mainly used as a screening tool and is based on observation. Alright, dearie. Now, how about we talk about the psychometrics of this assessment? Is it reliable and valid? So the test-retest reliability of the assessment for community-dwelling elderly adults is quite high at 0.97. For elderly adults with stroke and Parkinson's, the test-retest reliability is 0.96 and 0.80 to 0.85 respectively. The test-retest reliability for elderly adults in general, however, is moderate at 0.56. And the criterion validity is minus 0.81 with the Berg Balance Scale, and is minus 0.78 with the Barthel Index of ADL. I think that's pretty darn good. Now could you explain why therapists might choose this test and why they may not want to? There are many upsides to using this test. It's simple and easy to administer. It only takes about 5 minutes, and all you need is a tape measure, some tape, the assessment form, a pen or pencil, and your handy-dandy watch. Also, this test is free. One downside to the test, however, is that even though it's reliable and valid in most aspects, the interpretation of the score can be somewhat subjective. A score under 13 seconds usually means the person is not at risk of falling, and someone who scores over 13 seconds may be at risk of falling. However, things like the type of shoe worn, energy levels, minor cognitive impairments, and slow reaction time can all affect scores negatively, even though they don't really have anything to do with fall risk. And the standard cutoff scores are yet to be determined, so the 13 seconds, they're not really sure. You make some good points, my dear. Now, how about some functional interpretations that can be made from this test? What do you get out of it? Well, this test gives me a lot of great information. I'm able to see how they do with self-transfers from sitting to standing and vice versa, their balance once standing, their ability to use their cane or walker if they have one, and how easily they're able to follow simple instructions, and then, of course, their mobility and fall risk. After observing them, I can get a pretty good idea of how functional they are when ambulating out in the community or at home, which is so important. Oh yes, definitely. Finally, what could you tell me about the domains of the OT framework this assessment evaluates? Sure. So the TUG test mainly evaluates functional mobility and safety, but I can also get a pretty good idea of how their attention, navigation, and mental functions and sequencing complex movement skills are, as well as their joint mobility and gait patterns. Well, alrighty, dear. You know what time it is. Alright guys, this is my TUG wrap. Well, if you feel like you're not safe, then come and do this test with me. It's called the TUG, or the Timed Up and Go test. First you're gonna sit in an armchair at rest. Got your hips, knees, ankles at 90 degrees. Then the rest of the test is a breeze. Next we're gonna place some tape 10 feet away. Then once you're ready, you're gonna hear me say, when I say go, I want you to stand up and walk a normal pace to that destination. Once you reach the tape, you're gonna turn around, then walk back to the chair and sit that booty down. Bye.